Alright, so we're doing boxes. We're using Boxes.py, and then we're going to import the box that we're going to make into XCS for XTools Creative Space. So the first thing you do is go to Boxes.py. It's festi.info/boxes.py. Alright, once you get there, go to menus. You can go to the galleries and check out the galleries, but you can go to menu. If you go to menu, then you've got all these little different boxes you can choose from. Tons of boxes. There's all kinds of things you can do. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're doing boxes with Flex. And we're going to do Flexbox 2. You click on the, highlight it, and then click on the name, and that'll take you to it. You've got options for finger joints, different settings. We're not going to change any for this because we don't have to, but you can play around with them. I suggest that you do. You'll learn how the boxes work and how the program or the website works. There's settings for the different flexes, how thick they are, how thin they are. But the ones worth changing are here. And now this width, with this checked, that measures the outside. So that's 100 by 100 by 100 on the outside. For this, wanted the inside, so we chose the inside. So we're going to unselect it. And we're doing 50 by 50. So we change that to 50, that one to 50, that one to 50. For 3 millimeter at that small, I had to take this to 20 and this to 5. Then this is our thickness. So if you were using like 2 millimeter, you change that to 2. If you were using like 5 millimeter thickness basswood or whatever kind of wood, you change that to 5. But we're using 3, so I change it to 3. Then you can change your file format: DXF, G-code, Lightburn, PDF, PLT, PS, SVG, SVG, Panoco. But we're using it in XCS, so it needs to be a SVG file. Labels you can leave checked or unchecked. It doesn't seem to matter. You still get the same thing at the bottom. You can change the loop for the inner corners. You can leave it. The burn is the thickness of the burn. The higher this is, the more space you have between your fingers. I leave it at 1. It makes for a super tight fit, and I almost don't even need to use glue. I do anyway, but you don't have to. So now you click on Generate. Generate will bring up the image that is created. This is the file. This is what the file will look like. And then you can see what your box will look like. The sides, the bottoms, all that stuff. And this part here at the bottom with the numbering, when you import that to XTool, it's going to tell you that some text can't be parsed. That's this. This little box you'll delete in XTool. If you're satisfied with that, go back to the page, and this is the box, sort of. That's the 100 by 100 box. And then click on Download. It takes a second. Really, it does. And we're going to save it. I've already done it once today, so I'm not going to save it. But then you would click on, we'll save it. Click on Save. Yes or no. It's saved. And then you're going to go to your XTool. You're going to go back to XCS. Click on your little file folder. Import image. This is very important. If you do a box that's bigger than this space, like I've done large boxes that have taken up, I've had to use 5 different layers to get them to so that they're on the layers properly. It's very important that you do not resize when you import it. If you resize it when it imports to fit on your workspace, it won't work at all. The tabs won't fit together. Nothing will fit together. So we're going to navigate to the file. And there's the file. Open the file. And this one fits on the workspace, so it's not going to tell you that. And see, it did tell you the text. It still did the text. It says the SVC file contains text that cannot be parsed currently, which is this text here that you would have seen right here. So we're going to delete that because we don't need it. Delete it. Now, if this was bigger than this workspace, since you see how this all comes apart, the SVG, it's an editable SVG file. We don't want to resize any of this stuff. It needs to stay exactly the size it is, or none of this will fit together when you're done. But it also separates these. So the first thing you want to do is anything with a flex, you want to select it all and then group it together. And if you ungroup it, don't forget to regroup it. You move that, none of this will fit together. So now this is grouped into one. If this was bigger than this workspace, I would take this piece, and then copy it and paste it into another layer, and so on, until I had a workable area on each layer that I could work on. So we're just going to put it back where she came from. I'm going to select it all, move it to the middle of my workspace, and I always move all my cut lines first. Before I even start editing these, I always turn all my cut lines to red. You can turn them to whatever. I use red for cut. I don't know, fire, cut, whatever. But I'm going to move them all to red because these are all cut lines. Now, if I want to add some text to it, whatever you want to add, so I'm just going to add a little bit of text. Let's say, whoops. I'm going to put that right on here. So that's what we're doing right there. Now I'm going to leave it this kind of text, but I'm going to put it to engrave. And I'm going to put my engrave setting to 50 power, 70 speed, 1 pass, 200 lines. And that's that. Now I'm going to align it by going to the line, horizontal line center. My dog wants out. Then I am going to, you can align it. This is going to look weird, and I very rarely do this because it looks weird to me. If you line it like that, it's aligning it from the bottom to the top. So, I mean, it looks a little weird, but once you get it together, it actually looks like it belongs there. So you can do that. We can add some text here. Let's see. How about this? Turn it sideways. Now, for this, since I don't want to do a vertical or horizontal, or I don't want to do the horizontal because it'll plop it over here. I mean, we could. It could put it all over the place. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. But if I just want it in this spot, I'm going to put it there and select both and then do a line vertical. And that's going to line it here. Now I can copy this. Well, actually, let's resize this a little. And then do it. And then let's make this something cool, maybe. That's not super cool. There we go. Realign it. Oop, it's in the middle. Now let's copy this. Nope, no. We're going to set our score. We're going to score this one. So we're going to do, like 70 power. And 20 speed, 1 pass. All right, now let's copy it, because that'll save all the settings. Copy and paste. Now let's move this here, and we can do a horizontal align horizontal block. Oh, that's where the center is. So that's the center. See how that's different? That's why you don't want to do that. So, oops, we're going to undo, and we're going to eyeball that and do a vertical. And then we'll do it one more time. Back here. But, because it's the other side, we're going to turn it around. Then, I'm going to right there. Nah, let's put it right there. That's real close. We're going to get off it, and select both, and another line vertical, or lines, vertical align center. There. Now all those are aligned. Now, what I also do is, on my text, if I'm doing a engrave, I always move my engraves to dark blue, and my scores to light blue. It's just what I do. It's just how I do it. You can do it however you want. Now, let's see. What else can we put on here? Maybe I got some kind of image. Let's see what we got. Or how about this? You can insert a shape. Let's slap a shape on there from here. Let's see what we got. Got lots of little cool designs that can be used. How about let's do this. Click on the image. See if it showed up out there. Nope. Let's try it again. Shapes. And that. There it is. Now, whoops. I'm not going to get into the whole how to get this to fit in here right. That's a whole nother tutorial. But that's what we're going to do with that. We're going to, I don't know what we're going to do. Engrave it? I think engraving too much. Let's try scoring. Let's do scoring. We're going to score it. Same as the other score. I'm going to use 70 power and 20 speed. So maybe on this one, maybe we could do I don't know. Get this out. How about a little, how about some notes? That's kind of neat. Let's do that. Let's engrave the notes though instead. And we're going to align those horizontal center, and I think I'm going to leave it like that. Then I'm going to go back and realign this one. I did not do that. And we're going to leave it like that. And this, I need to move to the dark background, or the dark layer, because it's an engrave. And we're going to do the same thing, 50 and 70. And I think I'm only going to do 160 lines per inch. All right, now that that's done, that's your file. That's how you edit it. I didn't change the size of any of this. That's super important that you don't change these elements that you brought in. If you change them, none of them will work. So now that we've done that, we're going to save it. We're going to save it as, let's see, XCS tutorial box. How about that? We're going to save that. And then we're going to go and burn it. I think. Yes, we're going to go and burn it. Okay. Now that we got the laser turned on, we can see where this all sets. See, my board is long. Oh. I gotta refresh it. So I'm refreshing because I moved the board up farther. So I'm going to select everything. And I always group everything when I move it. That way it's all together, and I'm going to see if it fits on the board. So it doesn't fit, obviously. So I'm going to undo this because it'll make it easier. Ungroup. Now I'm going to select these two. I'm going to group them. Select these two. Group them. These two. Group them. All of these. And group them. Now I'm going to arrange it all on my board so that it fits. As long as you don't change the size, you can do anything you want. That there. This one here. I'm going to try and squeeze this guy in here. We may not have room. May have to do some funky turning. I may have haphazardly selected the wrong board, but let's see. We can do this. We can get everything back where it belongs and on the board, which I believe we have done. And that should work. Alright, so now it's all on the board. Boom, awesome. Now, I already know what my thickness that I'm going to select, but you can auto measure. Just click on your auto measure if you want to. And it's going to measure at, it's measuring at 3.5, but I already know that's too thick. So I'm going with 3, and 3 always works on 3mm for me. So that's what I'm going with. So now we're going to run her. Alright, now we've got everything set, ready to go. We're going to take our piece of wood, whatever we selected. I put it front top. Don't need a big piece for this because it's a real small little magnetic hold down. Now I turn my air on to 100, so that's what I'm going to do, or my air on full, so that's what I'm going to do. And then we're going to get rolling. Okay, now that we've got everything set up and we're ready, again, I'm going to double check my settings one more time. So what I can do is I can click on the red because I selected all the red. Or I cannot. What is going on? There we go. All the red. And all the red is set to score. It's a good thing I checked. So now we're going to set them to cut. We're going to 100%, three speed, 2 passes. It's going to take longer to do it, but it guarantees that your cuts get done and all the way through if there's any glue. Now I'm going to go to text, click on the blue. All the dark blues are selected. They're at 50 and 70. And then I'm going to select light blue. And those are all set to 70 and 20. One pass like I want them. Double check, ready to go. We're going to hit process. And we're going to wait for it to load. And it gives us a time of about an hour to do that little box with double passing. It's because I did 2 passes on the cuts. If I only did 1 pass on the cuts, it'd probably be a lot less. But I like to make sure that it's going to cut all the way through every time without having to worry about it or not worry about it. There's another way that I do this, but I'm not doing that on the video. If I did 1 pass and then I reached in when it was all done and the little piece didn't wiggle before I took everything out, then I would pass through that one again. But for this purpose of this video, we're doing 2 passes, so that's what we're doing. Now we'll click on start, and then we're ready. Alright, so it's all done. It's all cut out, etched, and all the good stuff. Let's get it out of here. Let's get it together. Hopefully everything cut. Yep. Yeah, come on. Get all the pieces out. Let's get them over here. And let's see if we can get it together. All right. Got tops, bottom, sides, all the good stuff. See if we can, there we go. We zoom out a little bit. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so we got all the pieces. Look at that. Flexy, flexy. Bendy, bendy. All right. The bottom should be the same all the way around, so it shouldn't matter where you start. Usually I'd wipe off the edges with a piece of tack cloth. Get all the black off. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now. Or a good portion of the black off from burning. Some are worse than others. This wood I got from Amazon hasn't been too bad. The soot is relatively minimal for the most part. You see, they stretch. It's kind of cool. Now, if we did this right, which sure we have. Now my finger's all tacky. Should be real hard, should be real tight. So, yeah, it is. Nice. So it goes together pretty tight. So that's how it goes. Now, I usually take either this Loctite or I have the red one is not gel. I'm not a big fan of gel, but this is just, I got a whole box of it for Christmas, so I'm using it. But what I do is I'll take it and put it along these spots here, and then this spot along here, and then it'll glue it together. So let's do that. And this gel is super fumey too. That's the other thing. Oh, I should have turned this way. Oh well, doesn't matter. Yeah, see, you got a little bit of flame on the back because that's the bottom. I wasn't paying attention, but that's okay. You can always sand that a little bit off. Now, I like to take my little tiny hammer, give it some wax. Kind of pushes everything together good and tight. Do the same thing on the other side. Good fit. Oops, we knocked that one a little loose. That's okay. Got a good fit. Now, do this. Now this one matters though, because you've got one spot where it can go and one spot where it can't go. If we put it here, we won't be able to put it together right. So this actually goes in the front. You can tell because you've got a big groove here. right here, in here, that's where this goes along with this piece. So there has to be room for both pieces. So if you were to glue this onto the back, because it will fit on the back, then you would be pretty much, you'd be screwed. That's what you'd be. So yeah, you got to make sure you're putting it on the right side. We're just going to put a little. Alright, that goes together good. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the back. And that's where the back goes, see? A little bit of that gel goes a long ways, man. Found that out the hard way. So I kind of work my way around, get them started. Some of them might be real tight, so I take my little tiny itty bitty hammer and just gently tap them down. There. Now, that's together. Now, if you want to close it, you fold this down, and that latches over, just like that. And you made a box. Little jewelry box. Which I think the designs came out pretty good. I think. That's kind of neat. You could put a little music box in there, and put the music things on it, or something like that. It's big, this little 50 by 50 is big enough to put a music box. I have one somewhere, but I don't know where. Here's one I made the other day. Nothing's on it. It's just a blank box. Somebody can etch their name on it or whatever. Or you can take it, you can give it for a gift and somebody can color it or paint it like a little kid or something like that, or anybody. Stain it. But that's the box. In a nutshell. You could sand it. I'd probably sand this a little bit to get some of that burn off there, that burn over off, and same on the back, the top. But yeah, there you go.